So the amazing Josh Mitchell.
Good morning. How's everybody doing today? I need everybody to stand up for me. Stand up. Glenn Lundy, when he first wrote this, Glenn Lundy's a really good friend of mine. He wrote this, and he had us stand up in our sales meeting and recite this, and I felt like I needed to put my hand, like it was saying the Pledge of Allegiance. And I love that she said eradicate the negative stigmas, because that is what's clearly on here. So I want everybody to say this with me as loud as you can. I am on a mission to eradicate the negative stigmas associated with the car business. I can do this by making people feel special, feel important, and like they're the only one. I will offer an experience that exceeds my customers' expectations today, tomorrow, and in the future. I will not just sell cars, I will create fans. You see that it says, I will not just sell cars, I will create fans. You can sit down now. The key thing to this is the negative stigma. We all know that there's a huge negative stigma associated with the car business. Will we all agree? Yes. And we will all agree that to move it forward, we have to change it. Will we all agree on that? Yes. And so, first I'm going to tell you, well, who am I? Well, my name is Josh Mitchell. I'm the Business Development Director at Rockstar Automotive Group. I started in the car business May 15, 2011 at Dan Cummins Chevrolet. Does anybody know anything about Dan Cummins Chevrolet? Sure. All right. So Dan Cummins Chevrolet, when I started there, Glenn Lundy was a salesman. Glenn Lundy is now the GM there, and we created a great atmosphere there, and they still continue it. And so in 2011, we were selling 150 cars a month, which Paris, Kentucky has 10,000 people. So not too bad, 150 cars a month, not too bad. We went on a journey to create a better experience for customers, a better experience for employees, and overall just to change the auto industry as a whole. And so we started selling 300, then 400, then 500, then 600, then 700, then 800, then 900 units a month. I left June 2017. The most we had sold at that point is 894 units out of a city of 10,000 people. Very impressive. It's amazing. It kind of looked back on it. It was an amazing, experience. Built me to what I do today. They hit 1,000 units just recently, and so they're continuing that thing. And so it's amazing what they have done. Still good friends with Glenn and Josh Cummins, amazing owner Josh Cummins is. And so I left there, had a 3-month stay in Huntington Beach, California. Reason why I left, it was a dealership that recruited me. And so I went out to Huntington Beach, California, and found out all the shit that people talk about dealerships. Yeah, I went to that one. We all make mistakes. But I left that dealership after realizing that I did not want to hang my reputation on that place. And so I left and went with Paul Miller Motor Company, spent 13 months, took that dealership from about 300 units to 400 units over a course of 13 months, and decided that culture sucks in automotive. And you find that out really quickly when you leave a dealership like Dan Cummins Chevrolet, which had an amazing culture, and you go and you test the waters at other dealerships to try to change their things. And so I've lived it, I've breathed it, I've lived the negative part of it, and luckily I found a dealership just recently. I started 3 weeks ago at Rockstar Automotive Group just outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. And so I am very thrilled that I am finally in a place where the culture is where it's at. And so I want to talk about this thing because with salespeople, I've seen a lot of things on social media and some different things, and there's this thing, and it's called God's plan. And not the song or the album. I don't really listen to Drake, but that's okay. But God's plan, and everybody says, well, God's got a plan for me. It is what it is, whatever God's going to do. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to cuss, and I just talked about God, and now I'm going to cuss. But Sean, you gave me authority to do that. But yes, I agree with you. God's got a plan. God also gave you the fucking ability to work. And so without executing a plan, you can put on social media, you can put on Facebook, you can do the social suck, which is what you want. You want that sympathy suck because you want to talk about how bad it is where you're at. But I tell you this, God's got a plan for each and every one of you, but you have to execute. If you're looking for opportunity, most times when we realize opportunity is when what? When it's already fucking passed. And so when you're looking at what you're designing your plans, when you're looking at, executing, Frank gave you the authority to do it. He gave you the permission. And so when you're looking at building your brand or building whatever you're looking to build, you have to execute. The first step is always the hardest. Pressing record. Frank and I have talked a lot about the journey that we have gone through where we're trying to be, trying to get on social media. If we're trying to do videos, he's giving me a hard time because I've not done as many videos. I've not done as many podcasts because it's all about, you have to develop the plan. You have to go with it. It's very difficult to press record. It's very vulnerable to press record. You get to figure out who you are when you press record. And so preparation for that. And so here's what I want to tell you. Not go fuck yourself, but go brand yourself. When we're talking about branding, and with a lot of car guys, it's like this. So they go on, and I think Matt talked about this. I'm on the lot. Look at the cars. And then you look at their friend list, and every fucking one of them is car guys. And they're like, you're killing it, dude. Well, guess what? I'm a car guy. I will never fucking buy a car from you. Just the nature of it. I love seeing your stuff. I love being able to comment on it. I love trying to coach people on it. But the fact of the matter is, your car guys that are on your Facebook account, on Instagram, everything else is never going to buy a car from you. Is that correct? Okay. And so when you're doing this, I hate the fact that everybody wants to be, and I get it. I've built a brand, Auto Disruptor. And it's me, and I do a lot of stuff for BDC. I do a lot of stuff for dealership. I do a lot of stuff for leadership. That's kind of my take on it. Yes, I'm a car guy. I don't want you to buy a car from me right now because you can't, because you got to buy it from your dealership. But when I see all these people, it's all about, they're like all of a sudden motivational speakers. They're talking about motivation. They're talking about doing this, and this is it. This is what we're doing. I get that, and I'm okay with it. But guess what? Unless you're looking for your next job, you're not going to sell cars to car guys. And so unless you're, I get that, and I get why you're doing it. But the fact of the matter is that if you're going to build a brand on social media, maybe you want to start working on selling cars to actual people. And so when you're building your brand, Matt talked about it when you're talking about doing the how-to videos. I talked about doing how-to videos years ago where, if your car dealership has a dent repair place, show what it takes to take a dent out of a car. Because I guarantee you people are looking that up. What's it going to take to get this dent out of my car? And so doing the how-to videos, with YouTube, how many people know what a 2011 Buick Lucerne is? Not the sexiest car, right? So there's a video on YouTube, has over 280,000 views, and it's half an hour about a 2011 Buick Lucerne. It's getting views. And so when I was talking to one of the sales guys at Paul Miller, he was talking about wanting to build this brand, and I said, here's what I need you to do. You have an iPhone, get it out, and I want you to find the sexiest car. We sold Fords, not the sexiest car, but we sold Fords, and I said, go find the Mustang that everybody wants to look at and shoot a video. You'll start getting views. Talk about the safety features in these cars. Talk about the things that people are looking for. And so, he started doing it, and then he quit. I said, man, what happened? He was like, man, it takes too much time. I was like, it takes 5 fucking minutes. And so when you're building your brand, I want you to really think about what your consumers are looking for and what you need to do to build that. And so when you're doing those how-to videos, when you're doing those things, and build that brand and build out what you need to do to actually pay some money to find other people that aren't car guys that can start following your page. Because those are the people that you're going to want to buy cars from you, because those are the people that are in there. So make sure that you're building that brand to do that and stop being a motivational speaker. And so step up or get replaced. We talked about, digital buying platforms, and Dan was talking about it last night, and I want to say something, and I was like, hold off, you're going to talk about it, so don't say anything, you're going to ruin your story. And so we all know that we don't want robots to replace us as car salesmen. You know, I sold cars for 6 months before I went into the internet department. I still will sell cars. I'll still go out on the floor and sell cars. I love it. But the fact of the matter is our consumers are asking more and more from us. And so when you're talking about the digital retailing, it's got to start somewhere. We were talking about this last night. It has to start somewhere. Our consumers don't even know about it really. Our websites really don't promote it. You've got AutoFi, you have GoGoCar, you've got countless others, Shop Click Drive, which is not really a digital buying program from GM, but they think it is. But so there's all this, you have to start somewhere. So I've been at Vestor Automotive Group for 3 weeks, and I was brought there to start their BDC and centralize it and do a lot of things. And so one of the key elements that I'm a big advocate on is BDCs being able to do their fucking job. And so the biggest problem with BDCs is that if a customer asks what their trade's worth, we halt. If they ask about interest rates, we halt. If they ask about anything that goes with automotive, we try to skirt the question to go around it. And that's the biggest problem, that we haven't equipped our BDCs to be able to handle these questions instead of thinking them as objectives or objections, actually going through this with the customer. And so we have done 2 things with digital retailing that really has made us be able to go forward. So my BDC, if we have a consumer that's out of state, if we have a consumer that just really wants to go down the process as quickly as possible, we will take them down that process over the phone. And we will walk them through this website. We use GoGoCar, but we'll walk them through the process, walk them through the trade, because we actually, with that system, and I'm not pushing it by any stretch of the imagination, we have a full-on trade that they snap pictures, and it goes through appraisal lane, and we have 300 people that are making bids on that car, and it's an actual number, and we walk them through that, because the biggest thing for consumers is what? What's their biggest hate about car dealerships, other than that they don't trust us in those things? Time. Time kills deals. Time costs money. And so if I could tell a customer, if I can get you in and out of the dealership in less than an hour, would that be something you would want to do? And we're like, yeah, let's do it. And so my BDC will take them all the way through the process to the point where they're picking the vehicle, the trade, the bank, finance products, all the way through it. So when they show up to the dealership, they pick up the car, they sign their paperwork, and they're gone. Less than an hour. And on this flip side of this, I have my sales staff using Auto Alert, which is where we're going towards. But right now we don't have Auto Alert yet, but we're going towards it. But we're going to be working that customer in the service lane, because how many people go through the service lane every single day that have equity, that could be buying a car? There's more people going through service, right, than walking your dealership to buy a car. Is that safe to say? Yet most salespeople are out there smoking with their buddies who aren't going to buy cars from them, talking about that last customer who's just a drag, instead of working their service lane to figure out there's consumers coming in there. If you don't know that your customer's coming in, you're not building your pipeline. You're just letting Joe Schmo do it. Joe Schmo is going to, in service lane, might fuck up your deal for the rest of your life, because sales serves the first car, service sells the second. And so working the service drive and using that digital process by just talking with them, saying, hey, this is Auto Alert. I can see that you have an equity position. I can get you in a brand new car, keep your payments the same. How does that work for you? And then using our digital side of just walking through that. So we skip the sales manager. And I apologize, how many sales managers do I have right here? You? All right. We're skipping the sales manager because there's not really any negotiation. Here's the deal. I don't have to go up to the sales manager and say, I have a customer and here's what we're doing. It's all there. It's all done. And so we skip that. We go through the process, because how many salespeople would love to skip the sales manager? Be amazing. Because our consumers don't have to go through this back and forth, because we already have it set up with our equity mining tool. We already have it set up using our digital buying platform. We just have it done. And so as a salesperson, with this digital, digital plan that everybody's thinking that people are just going to buy cars online, which could be a segment. I think it's probably going to be about 25-30% by 2020 is what everybody's estimating. But if you can take it and you can get your customers out in less than an hour and you can make this a seamless process, why wouldn't you want to use it? Because it's a very easy process to get our consumers through that we can just move them right around through. And so I want to talk about culture a lot, because culture inside of a dealership is probably, we all know it sucks. There's bell to bell. How many of you work bell to bell? Yeah. How many work for I won't say. How many work for a bad manager? I will tell you this from personal experience. People don't leave companies. People leave bad managers. It is something very, very, very true, because I was in a great dealership, but the managers and the upper management was the worst. If you go to your people and say, if you don't like this, get the fuck out. Well, guess what? After about the fourth time, that's what it took for me. I got the fuck out. You will lose great people because of bad managers. And so with the culture, one thing and there's a video with me and Glenn Lundy that's dated back with the nasty green wall. I don't look good with the green screen. I don't. It doesn't work with my pale complexion. But there's a video with me and Glenn, and we're talking about culture inside of a dealership. And one of the things that we did at Dan Cummins is we made a list of all the shit that sucked. Why people didn't like dealerships, why consumers didn't like us, why employees didn't like us. And we just said, all right, what can we do to fix all this? Just eliminate it. Eliminate the bad, the 8 to 8, the 9 to 9, whatever. Eliminate that. Because guess what? Millennials will work. I am a millennial, 36 years old. I'm on the last little part of it. And I'm a workaholic. Now, not everybody wants to work from 7:45 in the morning till 8. But a lot of people will, and a lot of people will like that 40 hours. And so I've always loved that the car business said, but we've always done it this way. And Matt loves this one. So you've always sucked. That's it. We've always done it this way, so we're going to continue down this path of just treating employees like shit, treating our customers like shit. We're just continue down this path because we've always done it this way. And so that's what we're going to end up doing. And so what I challenge everybody is to find out what makes each and every employee click. What? Because money is not always it. I was in a meeting with my last employer, and we were talking about, well, why? We're talking about pay plans and how we can recruit. And they were like, well, why would anybody work for us? And it was dead fucking silence. I was like, oh shit, we got a problem. Find out why people want to work for you. Find out the why inside the business, because that's how you're going to attract people. With what Glenn has done and what we did at Dan Cummins and what Josh has done, it's amazing because you built a culture. They recruited people from out of state to sell cars. That's how you create people who are evangelists of your brand. And if you want to build a winning team, you've got to have evangelists as your sales staff. And so I've always been very intimate into my BDC, and I have one-on-ones, and I get to know my people. And I think that's what's missing in the business, is we don't take the time to understand what you're going through or what makes you tick. One of the key elements, and one of the things with one of my guys was that he wanted to, we thought money. Just throw money at him. That motivates people, right? Money. And then I found out with talking to him that his main thing was time. He wanted time with his family. He wanted time away. And so when I would create different little bonus plans or different things like that, I created things for him that was like a Saturday off, which was like, oh shit, a Saturday off in the car business? What? But I gave him a Saturday off because, man, he got time with his family because money wasn't the motivator for him. And so when you're looking at your team, find out what makes them click. Find out what really is the motivator for them to come in and day out and hustle their ass off for you. Because sometimes it's not money. Sometimes it's time. Sometimes it's a vacation, a little bit more, but find out what makes them tick. And so we found out the 5 dangers or the few dangers in the car business, and I want to talk about that. The digital retailing is definitely a danger. They could eventually, robots could take over our industry and you are gone. But the others are lower grosses. This has become a volume game for the most of us. It's we continue, the gross keeps going down and down. In a Chevy Cruze, you got $500 worth of gross, and you've got to sell them, so you're below net now. So you're not making any money on those cars. And so it's all about that volume game. And so I know a lot of people are going towards this, but it's a danger in our industry. We have to understand that paying 30% on nothing is nothing. It's mini world. And so with you have to make sure that you're growing your business, keeping in touch with your past clients, and building a pipeline so you can continue working the service lane, working your equity mining tool. It's not just a game of just wait till they show up to the showroom to sell them a car. You have to be proactive, not reactive anymore. This is a proactive game. And so if you're not going to be proactive, then yes, you're going to get replaced by robots and what we call order takers. It's going to be nothing but people with iPads, like we're at the Apple store, and then we're just going to shuffle you around, and that's what it's going to be. You want it to be black and with black leather, that's it. So that is a huge danger that we have to continue to understand our consumers, what they want. The female consumer, as she was talking about, we have to make sure that, and I love this, that we have females in this room that are in the automotive space. I love it because we need more of it. But we have to understand that we have to continually educate ourselves and get better. The subscription model. Nobody's even talked about the subscription model. I can't even speak now. How many of us have Spotify? How many of us have Netflix? Everybody has gone to this model of subscription. It's how we live our lives. We live our lives on subscriptions. And so, with Jeff Weiler Automotive Group out of Cincinnati, they've created a subscription service. So what does that mean to the salesperson? Now you have people they pay $1,500 a month and they can get a Camaro. They can get a XLR. What is your car, Matt? ELR. You can get one of those. But this subscription model is going to be, so you have to educate yourself to understand that consumers are going to go this way. So why wouldn't you want to be the first person, if your dealership's doing it, why wouldn't you want to be the first person that introduces consumers? And so you can be that guy who's getting these people on that subscription service. So you have people coming in every single month or every single week or whenever they want to do that. And I know this sounds horrible, but BDCs are a danger. I'm a BDC director through and through. I love BDCs. I live and breathe. I'm passionate about it. But if you have a sucky BDC, it will kill your business and it'll kill you as a salesperson. And so understanding that you have to develop that relationship with your business development center, because we need you just as much as you need us. And so building that relationship with your BDC is critical for your sales managers, for you as a salesperson. It is a huge thing, because without salespeople, BDCs don't exist. We suck. Like, without you guys, you are our end result. And just like with us as BDC, we're your front line. And so understanding that as a BDC manager, my main goal is to get consumers in the door. And my main goal is not to negotiate a price. I am trying to hold the gross because I want you to get paid. Because if you get paid and you sell more cars, that makes you happier. If you get appointments and you sell our appointments, that makes us happier. And we are a family. That is critical for anybody in the sales industry. That your business development center and your salespeople have to be clicking. We have to be a family. And it can't be, well, the fucking salesman did not put any notes in the system. Come on, use your CRM. Please. How hard is it to say, Billy came in and Billy looked at a F-150 and he was trading in this and he was doing this? How hard was that? And how hard is it for a BDC rep to put fucking notes? Because I want you to understand what's getting ready to happen. And so I'm going to tell you in the notes, and when you get a customer, look at the notes real quick, so then you know what the customer is. Because I want to be able to tell a story to my salesman. I want to tell him that he's going to try and negotiate. I've told him no 15 times, but he still wants to negotiate. I want to tell him about the trade, how much money he's got down, how many other dealerships he might have told him he's stopped at. I want to tell you a story. Give me that in return. So when I'm doing that unsold follow-up, I know what happened. I'm not going in blind. He could have been a complete asshole, and I'm just going in getting just fired at. And so then you have that relationship gap because they're like, well, Billy doesn't put in notes, and then his customers all hate him. And the same with BDC. You have to put in notes. You have to create that relationship. You have to give them the know-how of what to do when that consumer's in, so they're not starting from scratch, because the biggest other complaint that consumers have is that the time thing, we're starting them on step 1 and they're on step 5. So if you know all the information, if you know what's going on as a salesperson, what your BDC has discussed, what's going on, what's already been done, you can start right there. Obviously, you got to meet and greet them. I know that's step 1. We all know the road to the sale. But you have to start where the consumer's at, because you don't want to start all over, because then they're like, oh, here we go. Here goes the dog and pony show. And so make sure that you're starting where they need to start. And so start treating, we talked about this a little bit earlier, start treating it like a business. I understand that it's not your own business and those type of things. You don't work for yourself. You work for somebody. You work for somebody regardless if you own a business. I get that. But as sales managers, if you want the top producers, if you want those guys, then let them run their business. I understand there's checks and balances. There's things that they have to do. There's processes. There's this, there's that. There's lot rodeos and all those different things that come into play, which we would never have signed up as an entrepreneur to go do lot rodeos. That sounds a little bit more fun than lot party. There's a rodeo. I don't know what the fuck that was supposed to mean. They're just going to start running around. But start treating it like a business. Your customers are your customers. Okay? And start following up with them. Do long-term follow-up. I know you can't even do short-term follow-up on a lot of parts. Some of the salespeople can't even do the short-term follow-up, let alone the long-term. I mean, I do my happy birthday and then my anniversary. You know how CRMs are all set up to do the happy birthday. I don't understand that one. I'm lost on that one. But build your relationship. Build that pipeline for the long term. We said this at Cummins a lot. You're not done following up until you sell them their second car, because then you've built a fan. If they come back to you and buy another one, that's when you've created a fan and a long-term relationship with the consumer. And so make sure that you're working them. Make sure that if they're in the service drive, go say hello. It's a simple thing. So say hello and see how things are doing. I don't want to go say hello, because what if their shit's broke and I sold them a bad car? What if you did? What if you help them get out of that bad situation and get them in something better? Are they a client for life because you helped them out? You stepped out of your way to get them out of that? Yeah. They love you now. And so be there when the customers are coming into your service drive. Be there and following up in the long term, and just do something different. Because if we don't do something different, robots are going to take over. We talked about this, that overall the automotive industry sucks so bad that all you have to do is be that much better and crush your competition. At the very beginning, Dan Cummins Chevrolet was not that much better. Josh Cummins would give us C+. That's how we were for the longest time. He gave us C+ grading. Even when we were selling 900 cars a month, we were still C students. But all you have to do is do something that much different. Just that extra little step. Follow up. it's amazing that follow-up is just that simple step. And so just be better. Our industry deserves to be better. Our consumers deserve to have better experiences. Our employees deserve better experiences. And so just do me one favor. I want to disrupt this industry. I want it to be an industry where people are proud to say that they're car salesmen. And so with that, we have to eradicate the negative stigma. Get rid of it. Toss it. We don't have to. If you work for a dealership today, and I tell you this because Frank Lopes gave me this advice, and I told Frank what was going on, he said, "Is your shit not packed yet?" If you work for a dealer that is not going to push you a little bit further, that's not going to allow you to have a brand, who's not going to allow you to be on social media, that kicks your teeth in every Monday, every Friday, every sales meeting, every morning, every evening, I don't care what part of the day it is. If you work for a dealership that is that way, leave. Life is too short to do and be places like that. So quit doing shit you hate. Quit working at dealerships that treat you like shit. Because there are plenty of them. There are plenty of them that will actually train you, will actually give you a long-term plan. There are plenty of them out there. If you need a dealership, if you are looking for a place to call home, there's my number. I'll help you find one. If it's not where I'm at, I will help you get in touch with people. If you have questions for me, there's my number. That's my cell phone number. If you have anything for me, if you want to email me, text me, do anything, I'm there for you. If you have any heartaches that you need to talk about, if you're struggling on something, call me. I'm here. I want to change this industry. I'm in this with you guys. I'm in the trenches with every single one of you every single day. I'm working the deals. And so I know your heartaches. I know the difficulties. And so if you have anything that you need, there I am. I'm always here for you. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,